What is going on, YouTube? In today's video we're going to be talking about the Tahoe, and unfortunately it's not a good video about the Tahoe, but it's one that I still want to keep you guys in the loop on. So on Easter Sunday, my Tahoe was broken into sometime between midnight and 4 in the morning, and it sucks that people take advantage of a holiday, of a religious holiday for a lot of people, to go out and take things from other people that they have worked and built over time. So no, the Tahoe itself is not stolen. It is right here, but they did attempt to take the truck too. They somehow didn't get it, which is what I'm most thankful for, and I'm glad that they didn't take it, because I can replace the stuff inside of this, but it would be a lot more expensive and a lot more time consuming to have to replace this and everything that I've done to it. And not only that, like, this is literally like the cornerstone for my YouTube channel. Like, everybody that, or a lot of people that watch my channel is because of this vehicle right here. So this not only means a lot to me, but it means a lot to my YouTube channel and how far I've come today. So let's go ahead and get into what happened and how I noticed everything was gone, and you know, just that in general. So when I got here, or when I got up Easter morning, I want to say I got up like 7, 8 in the morning. I came out and this door was cracked and I saw wires hanging down. This door was open, and then my trunk was cracked, and I was just like, what the heck happened? And I immediately realized, I'm like, somebody broke in here, they stole my system. I knew it. I already knew. I'm like, all that stuff is gonna be gone. So not only that, you know, but there was more stuff they took as well. So to give you an idea of how all of this happened, I was at my girlfriend's apartments, which I'm not going to give any of the specifics on the information of her apartment complex or any of that, because for legal reasons I don't want to risk getting in trouble, even though I would love to slander them and talk very badly about them and how they manage everything. But I was at her apartments, and I have a spot in her parking garage where I can park, where there's a lot of spaces where I can park. So I had my truck backed in, and to give you guys an idea, you go in straight, and then there's parking on the right, and then there's parking straight ahead, and you make a left and you go up a ramp on the first floor. I parked on the ramp against the back wall. There's a concrete wall right there, and I back in every time I do that. And so I normally back in, I don't let my toe hitch hit the wall, but it's very close. And so that's how I had it parked. And to give you an idea, like, let's say I'm on the back wall, like back here, right here. When you enter the garage, let's just say where my hand is the entrance. Right there, there's a camera, but that camera has been broken for I don't know how long. It's literally was duct taped up and it was facing the ground. There's another set of cameras on the back wall that was supposed to be facing where I parked. That camera was turned towards the elevators for whatever reason. There's supposed to be 2 cameras right there, but there's only 1. And then the next camera is not until towards the top of the ramp, and you really can't see from that camera what's going on. You know, I don't even know if it works. So that's that. I'm just giving you guys a quick, you know, analysis, or quick, you know, kind of idea of how that is all set up. So I came out, and when I saw my truck, the trunk was open. And I was like, huh, how did they get in? You know, how did they manage to open the trunk? So when I came out, trunk was open. Like I said, there were wires hanging, and the spot that was next to my truck, so it would have been the parking spot right here, was open. And somehow no one parked there that night, when those parking spots are always filled. And no one was there when I parked in the beginning. So I was just like, man, if I just would have been thinking to park somewhere else, they wouldn't have got in. But this door was open, and I came to see this, but they had my wires, you know, my wires are hanging down. So this is, the wire to my bass knob that went to my sub amp. And if you don't know what a bass knob is, that is this thing you use to control your bass. And I've had this set up in here literally since I pretty much got this Tahoe. I've had that thing connected. So with that, I also had an amp under here, which I'm not going to open, but I had a sub amp under there, gone. I had an amp for my door speakers on the other side, gone. you know, those both were gone. And then I had my system back here, which you can see is now just a bunch of thrown around stuff. That's exactly what I opened the trunk to. And I also had a second battery that was also back here, which, you know, you probably can't see where it is, which is also stolen. And then the worst part about all of it is that day I had a firearm in the vehicle because I did not want to have that with me or anywhere near, you know, my family, which consisted, well, not my kids, but I didn't want to have that near any kids because it was a holiday that I was celebrating with my family. So had my firearm in the vehicle too. They stole that, so had to go through the whole process, filed a police report. It has been a month and a half, and of course nothing has been found. I mean, I didn't expect it to be found. They got in, got out, so that's that. And then, so if you guys want to know how they got in, they literally just punched this lockout. I haven't got around to updating my security system, which that's my fault, you know. So I mean, it still could have happened, you know. They could have punched the window out and got in, but I probably would have heard that, and they probably would have been taken care of, to say the least, if I did hear it. So they punched the lockout, and they that's how they got in, you know. So also, when they did get in, they were also trying to steal his radio, which, I mean, I don't know how you can pull out a system that weighs almost 300 pounds, because that's how much my subs and amps weigh. It weighed like close to 300 pounds. It was well over 200. I could not lift that myself. You know, it would probably take two very strong people to lift that box, because there's nowhere to grip it. Like, there's no way to get it out. They stole that, but you know, the radio is still there. There was literally only one bolt holding this in, and they broke this piece in the process of trying to steal it. So I'm glad they didn't try to steal that. And as you can see, they also were trying to pry at the steering column and steal the whole truck, which at first I think they were trying to steal the whole truck, and then they realized they couldn't, so they just tried to steal, you know, they just took whatever they could from there. So I mean, I really don't know, but now, you know, a lot has changed with this truck. Well, not a lot, but we're a lot more secure. So the number one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to replace this lock. They already punched it out. I'm gonna leave it punched out. If I get stuck anywhere, I'll just call roadside and they can come open this truck up for me. You know, I'd much rather do that than risk, you know, just having that lock punched out again. And then the number two thing that I did is I got a CompuStar alarm thrown on, which I forgot the name of it and model, but it's CompuStar with the screen, has a remote start. It also has an app on the phone as well, where I can track where the truck is. I can see exactly where it is. And then what else does it have? I can start my truck from that phone, and I can also lock and unlock it from the phone, arm and disarm the alarm, and it gives me notifications whenever the ignition turns on, or whenever the ignition turns on, it sends me a notification straight to my phone. So it's a pretty cool setup, and it's a lot more secure. You know, it has a kill switch with it as well, but you know, if anybody that's breaking into trucks is familiar with a basic alarm kill switch, they could probably disarm that. So I'll probably add another one in. And then it comes with this blade, which does all the phone stuff that I mentioned. So I mean, probably still have to throw an extra tracker and an extra kill switch on the truck just to keep it safe if I'm parking somewhere sketchy. But if somebody wants this truck bad enough, I'm sure that they would still get it. It just is what it is. It comes with the territory. So that's really that. And then the last thing I did was I added some tent, which is something I probably should have done a long time ago, because that's probably the whole reason they broke into my truck in the first place, is because they could see back there. They could see what was back there as far as the system, and when they got in, they found a lot more than what they were probably looking for, and they took all of that stuff. So got 5% on all the back windows now, and so now you can't even see in this truck, even if you look into it on a sunny day. Like, it has a view. You probably have to shine a light from the front window. You have to do a lot to see what's back there now, and it's a lot better. It also helps keeping this truck cool. It's Texas, so I'm glad that I did that, just because in the summertime, when I run the AC, the truck cools down a lot quicker than it used to, because right now it's probably 90 degrees, and you know, it is what it is out here. It gets very hot. So that's that. But so since all of that happened. I've only thrown on an alarm and threw some tint on the window, so it does look better too. You know, it makes it look a lot better. So I did 5%, like I said, on the back windows, and then on the front I did 30, so you can still see through it enough, and that's legal in the state of Texas, but you know, that's probably as dark as I want to go anyway, you know. So that's it. That's all for this video. Tahoe got broken into, but they didn't steal it. There's some damage to it, but all this stuff is fixable. You know, I'm just glad they didn't get the truck. Like I said again, it sucks that, you know, you have to deal with this kind of stuff, especially when you work hard for things, but it's just is what it is. You know, it doesn't matter where you are, this can happen to you. So if you're watching this and you have one of these vehicles, make sure you go ahead and throw in a kill switch, or go ahead and update that alarm. You know, just take some kind of precautions, whether it's having the steering wheel locked, something just to help prevent people from trying to steal your truck or slow them down, because sometimes just them being able to be slowed down enough will prevent them from stealing your truck. So that's that. And the good thing about that is, you know, during that time frame right before all of this happened, I locked in a sponsorship for the Tahoe, so it's going to be getting a big upgrade for something that I won't say yet, but for everyone that stayed, you'll know what the next video is going to be about. And hopefully I can muster up a good amount of time to go ahead and knock this out quickly. So that'll be pretty cool to see. You know, it'll be pretty cool to see how much this changes the truck and whether I like it or not. So we'll get into that on the next video, but hopefully, you know, by the time you're seeing this video, that will be the next video, and so stay tuned for that. But that's gonna do it for this one. So let me know what you had to say in the comments down below, and if whoever took that stuff is watching this video, I got something for you. Just let me find you. No, I'm playing, guys. We don't promote hostility on this channel, but I will have something for them if I find them. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. And as always, y'all take it easy, stay positive, always keep God first, and I will catch y'all in the next video.